By the conclusion of Avatar The Last Airbender, Katara has fallen in love with Aang. This is not disputable. She kisses him when they're on the balcony outside the Jasmine Dragon. This is the official start of their relationship, as the Avatar comics later confirm. These comics pick up very shortly after the events of Avatar The Last Airbender, and in them Aang and Katara are already together as a steady couple. They stay together throughout their lives, being married and having 3 children who are in their 50s by the events of The Legend of Korra: Kaya, Bumi, and Tenzin. By the start of The Legend of Korra, Aang is dead, having died in his 60s, and Katara is an old woman. The real questions are when exactly she fell in love with Aang, and, of course, why. Aang tries to kiss her when they are at the play in episode 317, The Ember Island Players, but Katara is put off by this, as she has just said she is confused. Now, her actual statement can be interpreted in such a way as to suggest that she was only confused because the war was going on, and now that the war is over, at the end of the show, she realizes that she loves him. Okay, but how exactly did she come to that conclusion? Before the ending of the show, there are only a handful of moments between them that can be interpreted in no other way except romantic attraction. The most notable of which being the dance scene in episode 302, the headband. Obviously, those among you who are hardcore fans of the Aang and Katara pairing, or the Kataang pairing, would insist that there are a lot of moments between them that demonstrate her attraction to Aang, but a lot of these could be read as familial or platonic, which the Greeks called philia in storge, as opposed to eros, so I'm not really sure how effective those moments are to us. Obviously, in love and relationships, there is a lot of ambiguity. You can have many different kinds of feelings for someone at the same time. There are not always clear lines between friend love, family love, and passionate eros love. Still, what we know for certain is at the start of the series, Aang has a rather one-sided crush on Katara, and that by the end of the series, Katara has fully reciprocated his affections. There is a clear transition here, so the questions are, what exactly happened, and, even more importantly, why did this happen? Though we are talking more about Katara, a lot of this has to do with how Aang changes throughout the course of Avatar The Last Airbender. At the start of the series, he is just a goofy kid who has not yet accepted the duty foisted upon him to save the world from the Fire Lord. By the end, he revels in this duty. Now, this does not mean he delights in absolute power. Given the chance to easily kill Ozai twice, he chooses not to. But he has fully committed to his duties. He knows what he must do, and this means a lot to someone like Katara, a person with a strong moral compass who views the world in largely ethical terms. Now, she may act against what we consider moral. She may disobey traditional moral codes, but she always sticks to her own moral code. As she says to Sokka in episode 305, the Painted Lady, she will never turn her back on those who need her. Because Aang has demonstrated himself to be more than just a goofy kid, she does not see him as nothing more than a dorky younger brother, but as a mature person capable of acting in the best interests of the world. That does not mean they always agree about what is right, and it is a little weird that the last interaction we see between them before the last kiss scene is an argument wherein Aang yells at Katara because she wants him to kill the Fire Lord. But they are both looking toward the right. Katara acknowledges a lot of this to Aang when she speaks with him in episode 310, The Day of Black Sun Part 1, right before the invasion gets going. Aang is just about to leave to fight the Fire Lord. Katara discusses how he has grown and changed for the better. When Aang kisses her here, it could be taken as a weird non sequitur, and it is clear that Aang has been thinking a lot about this in advance. He had clearly planned it ahead of time, that yes, I'm going to kiss Katara before I go off to fight the Fire Lord. But one could still take this as a natural response to what Katara has just said. To Aang, the subtext could be, hey, you're not a goofy kid anymore, so I'm willing to see you romantically instead of just as a younger brother figure. Yes, I see you as a friend just like before, but you mean more than that to me. And I have to say, Aang might not be entirely wrong to take it like that. Consider the most romantic moment between them before the final kiss. It is not the Cave of Two Lovers, not to me. They only kiss there because they have to. It's a choice between kissing and dying in their minds. I'm not saying this is not a romantic scene, but it does not make as good of a case for the pairing as does the scene when they are dancing in the cave. Katara has traditionally always been the one to pull Aang out of scraps. Twice, he was very deep in the Avatar state, becoming a danger to himself and those around him, and Katara pulled him out of that state. And this is not even counting the time when Katara saves his life and the lives of everyone in Team Avatar when they're alone in the desert. And then she goes further and pulls him out of the stupor of grief and guilt that he's left in, that he wallows in, throughout episode 212, The Serpent's Pass. Aang knows that he cannot repay Katara for all that she has done for him, but he can at least dance with her. For once, he is confident and assured. He is an airbender. Air is, as Uncle Iroh says, the element of freedom, and it is clear that Aang connects dancing to that freedom. When one is dancing, for Aang, it's a time for one to forget all their sorrows and doubts and insecurities. One can unite with the music and reach a sort of transcendent state. Aang gives Katara that freedom here. When she is nervous and insecure, he is confident, not arrogant or prideful, but self-assured. He simply tells her to take his hand. He says that she should trust him, and she does, and the result is a beautiful spectacle. There is no difference for them between bending and dancing. It gives us, as the viewers, the chance to step back and realize that the word art in martial arts is not meaningless. It's not just a fancy term. This really is a sort of art form. When there is no separation between form and function, the form can be as lovely as the function. Aang is there for her. When I say that she recognizes that he has grown up, I don't mean that in a physical sense, although yes, he has gotten older. About a year passes between the start of the show and its end. And yes, his voice has gotten deeper. And yes, he has become more muscular. What I'm talking about is something different. While I mean it in the sense of Aang finally accepting and even embracing the duties foisted upon him as the Avatar, it extends far beyond that. It's about her coming to the conclusion that he does not have to be protected anymore. He's not a child. He can be concerned with more than himself and his ego. He can try to help those around him, not just in terms of the grandiose save the world sense, but I mean intimately and personally, like he does with Katara here. Now, that of course doesn't mean she doesn't at least occasionally act motherly toward him, most notably in episode 307, The Runaway, but it is true that she is like that toward everyone, with very few exceptions. What she recognizes is that Aang is not a little kid who has to be guarded all the time, not anymore. Her perception changes from thinking of Aang as a little kid with a giant crush on her, to thinking of him as a relatively mature adolescent for whom she can have intimate, even romantic feelings. I do wish we got a little more information on how exactly she came to love him, but this is the best explanation I can offer as to why she came to love him. It's tied in with his coming of age as he grows up and grows into his duties. He also becomes someone Katara can think of on more equal terms, even romantic terms. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching Avatar. It is a brilliant, tender, empathetic show that I'm so glad is finally getting the attention it deserves. Now, I won't deceive y'all, I'm a Zutara guy at heart. I think y'all know that if you've looked through my channel, but I wanted to make the best case possible for the opposite pairing. I thought it would be a good exercise. And it's good to think about things from a different perspective every once in a while. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. Thank y'all again. Adios, comrades.